Welcome back to another episode of Eli the Computer Guy Screams at the Clouds. And I think this is an interesting topic to talk about, especially for the young people out there. The great AI de-skilling has begun. So, what do we talk about with de-skilling? Basically, what this is when you have skills, when you have abilities, and then essentially you let them atrophy and rot. This is a big problem that we see with a lot of folks that come out of boot camps, right? They go to these coding boot camps. While they're in the boot camps, they're doing all this coding work. You know, they're pretty good at what they're doing. And if they get hired within a month of graduating that coding boot camp, they're probably going to do pretty well in life. The problem is, though, if it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 12 months since they graduated that coding boot camp, and they're not doing their own projects, they do not continue adding to GitHub. The issue is if somebody's actually interested in hiring them, a year later, they sit down to basically do some fairly basic skills tests in order to get the job, and they fail miserably. Why? Because over a period of time, they have lost the skills that they had originally acquired, right? And this is a big problem in the technology world. I think this is a big problem for technology professionals. That's worse than a lot of other professions, just how our skills really do atrophy if we do not use them, right? You need to be on Linux, you need to be writing code, you need to be doing things. The longer that you don't do it, the longer or the more your skills literally start to rot. And so one of the things that I get concerned about right now is what's going on with this whole AI revolution, right? The idea that AI is going to do your job for you, that you should get paid a six-figure salary while some AI thing actually does all the work. And one of the questions there is how is de-skilling going to affect a whole generation of technology professionals, right? I first saw this here in the Asheville world. So I live in Asheville, North Carolina, where people are a wee bit airy-fairy. Oh, that's an understatement. They're very airy-fairy here. Anyways, one of the curious things that I saw is we have these AI meetups. So everybody here was really excited about artificial intelligence, right? And so they'd have all these meetups. And some of the meetups were basically talking about how, again, AI can do your job for you. Look, AI can create your marketing plan. Hey, look, AI can create your business plan. Hey, look, you have a customer, again, that wants marketing or whatever else. You can have AI do all of this work for you. And I found it to be very weird because I think one of the things a lot of people misunderstand about creating plans is that the paper isn't really the output that's most important. Right? So when you create a business plan, when you create a marketing plan, that paper that you have at the end of the day, that is how you transmit information relatively easily to somebody else. So it's formatted well so they understand what the hell it is that you're talking about and why you're saying the things that you do. But it's not actually the most valuable thing that comes out of the whole process of creating the plan. The real value is you sitting there and figuring out what you think reality looks like. Right? Again, especially if you're doing marketing plans, sitting there with brass tacks, looking at your metrics, or realizing that you don't have metrics, so figuring out you need to get metrics, right? Sitting there, figuring out what is the client acquisition cost, figuring out the total lifetime value of a customer, figuring out a lot of this just brutal, stupid, tedious crap. Again, why you want to hand it over to the AI? Because it's brutal and tedious, right? But it's getting you to sit down and really think about what you're doing, right? Why are you doing what you're doing? What are the reasons for why you're doing what you're doing? What are the decision points? All of that kind of stuff. And that's the valuable thing with coming up with these plans. And then you just simply sit there and you write it out and you write it out so you have something to go back to, so you remember what the hell you were talking about or thinking originally, and so you can hand this to somebody else so they have an idea of what's going on. But the real valuable thing about creating these plans is that you understand what's going on. Again, one of the things to be thinking about with going in and creating code bases or modifying code bases or auditing code bases. The value there is not simply in doing the work, updating the code or whatever else. It's understanding how all the code works, understanding how everything works together, getting your mind around your overall infrastructure and your platform so that you can think about, is this the appropriate way? Again, we built this system 10 years ago. Now that I'm sitting here digging into the code, I realize X, Y, or Z. Now here's the thing, right? When these AIs, these LLMs have a million token context windows, and you can just dump in your entire code base and tell it to do something. One of the interesting questions becomes, at what point do you stop understanding your code base? At what point do you literally give up your understanding of what you're doing, why you're doing it, how things function, why things were done in the first place, so on and so forth? And I think this is going to be a big issue going into the future with artificial intelligence, is as more and more people give over the tedious work to the artificial intelligence, they're going to lose the value of the tedious work. Where does that go for any of us? Again, think about it. Think about if you have a marketing professional that no longer really understands the marketing plan. Look, I have a marketing plan. Okay, great. So bullet point 5, where you say we're going to do X, Y, or Z. Why are we doing X, Y, or Z? Is it really valuable to use our resources on this, or should we take all of those resources and put it onto bullet point 3? Well, I see what you have here on bullet point 8, but from my interactions, I don't think those particular people actually like our product, no matter how much money we spend on advertising for them. Would it be more appropriate to focus that advertising money somewhere else, or should we adjust how we're doing our marketing campaign, to better interact with those particular people? Derp. Sure. So why do we use Twilio? Why do we use SendGrid? Why do we use PHP versus Python versus Rust? Derp, right? So anyways, I don't know. I think that's going to be an interesting thing to look at going forward. As professionals start losing their skills, and then how can we keep the professionals actually being good at their jobs, right? Because the big thing with AI and these LLMs is basically the force multiplier. You can now do more, but there is that limit of how much any person can do, how much somebody can have in their brain. By being able to do so many things, are you losing something on the other side, right? So if you're a front-end developer, right? If you're a front-end developer, you should be talking to the end users. You should be talking to the end users. You should be understanding how they actually do their work. You should understand, design and all that kind of thing. If you're back-end, if you're doing back-end, you should understand the infrastructure. You should understand the vendors. You should understand the institutional knowledge for being able to support systems and all that kind of stuff. But those are two entirely different customer client bases that you have to interact with. If you now have one person for a corporation that has to deal with both front end and back end, all the code, all the people, everything else, AI will allow them to do it to a particular level, but what are they going to lose for being able to do that? I don't know. Something to ponder. So what do you think about this? What do you think about AI deskilling? Not just for the kids. The kids are already fucked. The kids are not gonna be all right. They're quite screwed. But anyways, screw them. Nobody cares about them anyway. But think about this for the old timers. Think about that. Think about the Gen Xers. What about the Gen X coders? Or what's AI going to do to us? Are we literally going to lose our skill sets as we hand more over to the AI? And then what does that look like for a corporation? What happens when your dev teams start deskilling? What happens day by day, month by month, year by year, as they literally lose their skills? I don't know. Put your thoughts down below. Do remember I do these videos in order to support Silicon Dojo, free hands-on technology education that empowers you to do whatever the hell it is you want to do. We're doing the class on OpenAI API for AI in Python tonight here in Nashville. We also do classes in Durham. A whole bunch of stuff is going on. If you're interested, take a look at silicondojo.com. If you want to help support Silicon Dojo, there's a donor box link down below. And with that, see y'all later.